Well, good morning. On this day after a former president was walked into a Manhattan courtroom to face 34 felony counts of what exactly? Well, I guess we'll hear more about it. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Thanks for hanging out each and every weekday morning. Of course, you've got former President Donald Trump being charged with 34 felony counts yesterday out of Manhattan. And you've been hearing all about it all day yesterday and throughout the day. Today, you are likely to hear even more about it. But obviously, this was a huge deal. As you see, there's plenty of video of the president being walked to the courtroom. Just a mere few seconds of a glimpse of that historic moment. But you also have, plenty of photographs that were taken inside the courtroom before the press was told to get out. So there are a few photos from inside the courtroom, but you also have all of the action of him being walked back out of the courtroom into a back room somewhere after getting processed and so on. So the former president being indicted and arraigned yesterday. What are the charges? Alvin Bragg, he's the district attorney up there in Manhattan. He lays out what he says is the real, crimes that his district, he says he won't tolerate. So here's Alvin Bragg talking about the crimes, and we'll also hear President Donald Trump and his reaction.
Earlier this afternoon, Donald Trump was arraigned on a New York Supreme Court indictment returned by a Manhattan grand jury on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. Under New York state law, it is a felony to falsify business records with intent to defraud and an intent to conceal another crime. That is exactly what this case is about. 34 false statements made to cover up other crimes. These are felony crimes in New York State, no matter who you are. We cannot and will not normalize serious criminal conduct. The defendant repeatedly made false statements on New York business records. He also caused others to make false statements. The defendant claimed that he was paying Michael Cohen for legal services performed in 2017. This simply was not true. And it was a false statement that the defendant made month after month in 2017.
So essentially what my understanding is that their individual payments that Trump allegedly made to Michael Cohen that were not for what they claimed to have been for. So that's where you get the multiple counts against the former president. Now, of course, there's a lot of pontification about what the charges mean and how this is going to impact the election in 2024 if Trump is indeed considered the front runner for the Republican Party. We'll see how that all plays out, as the president will have to be back in court December 4th. Which is kind of fascinating. They want to, shut down the streets of Manhattan again and have the whole Secret Service motorcade and the theatrics out on the streets and all New York police having to be on duty. And that costs taxpayers quite a bit. So fascinating to see that this is the level of the crime, which Bragg says you can't falsify records. But when you do it to cover up another crime, he alleges, that itself makes it a felony, and that's why he's going after this, and nobody's above the law. That's what Bragg is saying about this. But there's a lot of criticism of the indictments because it doesn't necessarily spell out what that underlying crime that was being covered up with the alleged false payments. What is that crime? Maybe we see that with what's called a bill of particulars, which will break everything down. Who knows? But we'll be watching that, of course, in the days ahead as more of these filings come together. No gag order yesterday. The president is allowed to speak on what he wants to talk about, and he did so yesterday when he took to a podium down in Mar-a-Lago to address supporters inside his resort to have people ultimately lined up and hear what he has to say. and get this queued up for you where the president is approaching the podium, just so we have plenty of space here, okay?
Thank you very much, everybody. And we have to save our country. God bless you all. God bless you all. And I never thought anything like this could happen in America. Never thought it could happen. The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it. From the beginning, the Democrats spied on my campaign. Remember that? They attacked me with an onslaught of fraudulent investigations. Russia, Russia, Russia. Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. Impeachment hoax number 1. Impeachment hoax number 2. The illegal and unconstitutional raid on Mar-a-Lago, right here. They're lying to the FISA courts, the FBI and DOJ relentlessly pursuing Republicans, the unconstitutional changes to election laws by not getting approvals from state legislators, the millions of votes illegally stuffed into ballot boxes and all caught on government cameras. And just recently, the FBI and DOJ in collusion with Twitter and Facebook in order not to say anything bad about the Hunter Biden laptop from hell, which exposes the Biden family as criminals and which, according to the pollsters, would have made a 17-point difference in the election result. And we needed a lot less than that, like about 16.9. It would have been in our favor, not my favor, our favor, because our country is going to hell.
He goes on to talk about how this is election interference. He lays out how he says the judge hates Trump, the district attorney hates Trump, that this is all an effort to try to keep him from being the next president of the United States. So obviously this is a wild turn in the page of history where we've got, in the first time ever, a former president being charged with felonies after being out of office, but while seeking the office again. So, yeah, you'll be able to tell your kids and grandkids where you were when you were watching in the background the former president get indicted and arraigned in Manhattan.